Well, hello there! Welcome once more to Quancho's Kitchen. And if this is your first time stopping by, I would like to say a very warm akwaba to you. Oh yes, it is a Waakye Wednesday, and I thought what better day to share with you this cook with me. So we'll be making street kind Waakye with everything that you would find on your Waakye seller's table. Yes, look at this beautiful, delicious spread. I know you really want to do this. So come along with me, let's do some cooking. So to start, we'll be making our stew, and I have here some fresh tomatoes. We're just gonna go ahead and wash them. Give it a second wash, of course. Make sure everything is very, very clean. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these and blend. Such beautiful, gorgeous tomatoes. And as you can see, I'm not taking out my seeds. Feel free to take out your seeds. I'm very temperamental with my seeds. Sometimes I feel like taking them out. Most of the time I don't. So I'm blending these now, and then of course I'm going to go ahead and pre-cook it. So I have like something like a tomato puree to save time. So all tomatoes blended, and on the stove top it goes, and I'm boiling it now. So whilst the tomato cooks, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my seasoning or marinade for my meat. So I have here some fresh onions. I also have here some shallots and garlic and ginger. So I have my garlic and ginger in the blender now, all chopped, and then I go get some aniseed. This is what we call in Ghana inkitinkiti. I also have some coriander seeds or cilantro seeds. I really don't remember how it is called in Ghana, but I know you could just go and say Mipen Kru and they would give it to you. Please comment down below if you know the name in Ghana so other people can find that. These in your tomato stews or even on your meat, so delicious, delicious. I remember back home in Ghana when you go to the market to get these seasonings, you go like, where they are special or special, where they chinkwa, like seriously, no way, but this is good. So please try it wherever you are on your meats and in your tomato stews. You know the difference. So I have these seasonings blended, so I pour it onto my meat now. The meat we are using, as you can see, is goat meat already washed. I've added here some salt. I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a stir. Make sure you have your meat wholly covered with this great marinade. It smells amazing. That's marinade. You really need to try it. I have a lot of people giving me testimony about that, so I want you to try it as well. So whilst our meat is marinating, I have here a bag of beans. This is a 1 pound bag of beans, black eyed peas, dry peas, and I'm just gonna go ahead, just look through, make sure there is nothing, and then I poured some water on it for it to soak. So these onions are going to be the base for the stew, and of course I'm not washing the blender for any reason. Everything is going into the stew. This is real life cook with me. So I'm going to go ahead and slice my shallots. These are going to be what I'll fry in the oil before I put the rest of my ingredients in. Of course, you can use any kind of onions you have. I just happen to have the shallots, so I try to use that as the base. And now this is just the onions and pepper. That's going to be for the stew, and I'm blending that. Checking on our tomatoes, it is almost cooked to how I want it. And then I check quickly on our goat meat too. It smells amazing. It's looking perfect. You know, it's doing what it should be doing. And now I have some cow skin here, really, you know. So I'm adding that at this point. It is parboiled, so that's why I'm adding it in here now. It was cooked without any seasoning. So now in here it's going to pick up some seasoning and soften up some more. And at this point, our tomatoes has cooked all the way down, all the way down. So I transfer it into this bowl so I can just go ahead and make the stew in the same saucepan. I just gave it a little rinse, wash it off a little bit, and now I'm pouring some oil in here to fry my meat. So whilst the oil is heating up, I'm just going to go ahead and remove my meat from the saucepan into a bowl. That way, you can try to strain most of the juices off it so they don't make splatters when you fry. And here we go, our oil is hot enough, so I'm just going to go ahead and place my meat in the oil. And look at that, of course, it has some splatters, I know. So be careful, just be careful, or just cover with a splatter guard to prevent any burns. Okay, so our meat is perfectly fried, beautiful, perfect. And now I have in here my onions. I let it fry for about a minute, and I'm adding curry powder. You know me, I love my curry powder, and I love to put it in my tomato based stews. Frying it in the oil like this, the aromas it brings, the flavors in your stew when it is all cooked, you won't believe it. So whilst that was in there, it cooked for about another minute, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and add in my blended onions and peppers. Give it a stir, and I'm just going to allow this to cook for at least 3 full minutes for the flavors to work out. You want it to cook so everything combines together, the aromas work out more before you add anything. So I rinsed off my blender and added it in here because you don't want to lose any of those great ingredients. And now I'm just going to go ahead and let it cook. So now I'm going to get ready to cook my waakye now. So I'm going to take the pot with the stock off the stove, put it aside, and set my water on the stove now to start with my waakye. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead now and wash my waakye leaves. These are sorghum leaves. They have a dye in it like a wine color. That's what we would say in Ghana, something like a burgundy, dark brown color. And that is what we want, the color we typically look for when we make waakye. I like to open my leaves and wash them thoroughly because you never know what is hiding inside there. It could be some pests that were on the crop. Sometimes they have something on like webs. You just want to make sure you clean it very well. So I've cleaned them all very well now, and I'm gonna go ahead and tie it. So I just used some baker's twine to tie it, dropped it in the water. That way, when it cooks and you get all the dyes worked into your water, it's easy enough for you to just lift it without having to just be trying to fish for these leaves. So whilst that is doing, I stirred my stew. It is smelling so good, so good. And now I just added my tomato paste. I'm just going to go ahead and let that also cook, stirring it, making sure that it really mixes well with your other ingredients in here, just like that. So there are now no lumps or clumps. It is well mixed, more like dissolved into the onion and pepper blend, and this is how you want it to be. So I'm going to let that also cook for a while, and whilst that is cooking, I have my beans. You could see it has swelled up beautifully. It is soaked perfectly, and I'm just going to go ahead and wash it thoroughly before I put it in my water, my dye. Feel free to soak your beans for longer, overnight or anything, but for me this works. It swells up so fast anyway. The beans here, I always say, I think is a little softer than the ones we have back home. So it doesn't take that long to cook. And now as you can see, the dye is working into water already. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add the beans in here. And I'm going to add a little bit of baking soda. I like to combine both. You could also just cook your waakye with just the baking soda. It will color it, but not as much. So I put in here 1 teaspoon of baking soda or bicarbonate of soda. You saw all that fizzing? Yes. and that is going to help work out some color, more color in here. And I added my salt at this point as well. The salt always according to your taste. Yes, I have another waakye recipe here. I have a separate waakye video and a separate stew video. Maybe that would be better for you, but I think this is just as comprehensive. But I'll be linking them both up here for you so you can check them out as well. So looking at our stew, it is frying beautifully. Like, it is just gonna cook to perfection. Smells amazing. And you know, this is how they will say, or chifroy in Nankasa. Yes, you want this stew, this typical waakye stew, to be very well fried, you know. So now I think the tomato paste is cooked enough, and so I'm just gonna add in here my pre-cooked tomatoes. This helps to speed up the process. I always say that, and always, if you can, just cook your tomatoes way ahead of time. A big batch freeze, it saves time. It really does save time. So here, look at that. You could see how cooked the tomato paste and the onions were before I added the freshly, you know, the cooked tomatoes, because you could tell from the different colors, the dark brown and the very light, you know, almost like reddish color. So whilst this is cooking, I try to boil my eggs behind this. I'm trying to maximize everything, because the eggs I intend to boil and then fry as well. So that is behind that now. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add one seasoning cube. This is Maggie shrimp tablet. Feel free to omit that, or you could just use any seasoning cube of choice. So now that our tomato stew has almost all the ingredients in there now and it's cooking gorgeously, I'm just going to go ahead and rinse off my fish. So I have a video, I made a separate video like which has been there for almost 6 weeks ago of how I made this. So yes, please check that out. And finally, I'm sharing with you the washing video. So here I have my fish washed and set aside, and now I'm just washing my rice that is going to go in here. And so just look at that water, so beautifully colored by the leaves. It has boiled in here with, since you know, from when I put the beans in here, it has boiled for about 25 minutes. And just look at that. The beans is cooked to the point where it is just right. It makes sense for you to add your rice in here. So by the time the rice is done cooking, the beans will be cooked to perfection as well. So it is very soft on the outside, but it has just a little bit of firmness or hardness in the middle. And that is how you want it. You want to put your rice in at this point of cooking for the beans. And I added 1 tablespoon of coconut oil, virgin coconut oil in here. The aroma it brings in your waakye, the flavor, it just gives it that authentic. I don't even know if the waakye sellers really put that in, but it makes it smell and taste really like the street waakye, like really. So if you happen to have coconut oil, kindly add a little bit in here. So I'm just stirred everything up now, and I'm gonna go ahead and cover this and let it continue cooking. So whilst that is cooking, I'm just going to go ahead and season my fish. This is whiting fish or hake fish. And like I said, I have a full video here for you. I just put parts of it here because it was part of the cooking process. I cooked this alongside everything else that is for the waakye. And so kindly watch that video. I'm linking it for you as well. Our rice has cooked for about 17 minutes at this point. Checking on my time, and at this point just look at that beautiful gorgeous color, like very dark colored waakye. Yes, and at this point this this bunch of leaves has done its job. Nti waakye haban yɛda ase wayɛ adeɛ wo mmara so why person kɔ time to leave. Okay, there you go, bye bye, thank you. But look at our waakye here, just beautiful perfection. And it is not all the way done. It's going to need about at least 15 more minutes for it to really soften up, and then our waakye will be done. So I'm just going to go ahead and cover with a parchment paper. I try to cover with parchment paper or foil. Back home you would use plastic maybe, and that helps to trap all the moisture so you don't have to add too much water to your rice. Our stew is doing perfect now, and I just went ahead and added the stock, which also has the willy or the cow skin in there. I didn't fry that. You don't want to fry that. And so in here, just look at how thick, beautiful that stock is, and the flavors it has, just beautiful, beautiful. So this stew is cooked to perfection now, and I'm just gonna go ahead and add my fried goat meat in here, so it gets a chance to absorb all the flavors of the stew and get some time to cook. And like I said, I typically like my stew thick. You could dilute this a little bit more if you want, but the stew is very well cooked at this point anyway. And so I'm just going to go ahead and let this cook down, just soften up my meat, and we'll be done. I know you might be wondering about the eggs on there. It sat on the back for so long. It was not really getting enough heat, so it took forever, but finally I was able to move things around to boil it and then peel it so we could fry it. So here we go, frying our fish, and frying the rosemary in here in the oil just gives some infusion to it. It infuses all the fragrance of the rosemary into your oil, and your fish just smells so good when you do it. So try that. I know you will like it. You probably could do that also, of course, with your chicken or most kinds of meat that you fry, and it's just going to be very, very fragrant. Yes, so of course I told you this is going to have everything your Waakye seller has on her table, and of course that includes spaghetti, talia. So I'm cooking my spaghetti now, or macaroni. I had water, hot water, boiling water. Just broke my spaghetti in there, some salt on it, of course, and I'm just going to let that boil. And whilst that boils, of course, our fish, checking on it, perfectly fried, golden, very crispy on the outside, but so soft, just delicious. This fish, you really have to try it. If you can find it, this is ala takako back home, just perfect. Perfect with your Waakye, perfect with your kenke, if you know. So good. So I'm done frying the first batch, and I have in here the second batch, which is just 3 pieces of fish, but I'm also going to go ahead and fry my eggs, my hard-boiled eggs in here as well. If you haven't tried this before, or this sounds very strange to you, this is something we do in Ghana, and it's very good, very good. I know. Not the healthiest every now and then. You just do that every now and then. It's so good with your waakye on your jollof, It was I think it almost went away for a while, but now it's really, really trending. And just try it one of these days if you can. And of course, our waakye also has to have some little bit of salad, or so here we are. I just have my romaine lettuce very well washed and dried, and I'm just slicing it. You want to cut it very thin as much as you want. You can, you're trying to slice, And I added in here just other ingredients, but I think on editing I found I didn't video those parts. But just go ahead and add some onions, carrots, basically just that, or sometimes I like to add a little bit of cilantro if I have that. Whatever you would normally just put in your slaw or your salad. Just typical waakye leaves, we just call it salad leaves. We normally don't put any dressing on it. It's just a dry kind of salad. That's pretty much it. So eggs and fish doing beautiful. You see the eggs that side showing up now. That is how you want it to be. This is so good. I really hope you're able to try it one of these days. Just try it one of these days, please. You will love it. And now I think it is all done, perfectly fried, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring them out of the oil. Just look at that. Perfection. Just so good. So the fish wasn't so done that time, so just of course let it fry just a little bit more, and then I'll bring it out of the oil as well. Perfectly done now. So I bring it out of the oil, and everything is all set. The only thing I didn't show you how I made it was my gari. Just add a little bit of stew to it. You wet it, add a little bit of tomato stew, mix it up, and there we have it, our beautiful, gorgeous spread. Everything you would dream of having on your Waakye sellers table, Kwanchua has it here. No, we don't play. If we're gonna do it, we do it, and we do it very, very well. Just look at that. So good. I really hope you're able to try this. Just look at that fish. Just beautiful. Just everything here just wants you to just grab your plate and serve yourself without even being asked to go ahead and do it. I hope you're able to try this. I know you will love this. This is boutique, Waakye boutique, Agasa, just look. So here I going to go ahead and dish mine out. Such perfection. Beautifully cooked, for sure. Getting some meat and a dollop of that Waakye stew, because like I said, and make it thick, and that way a little bit goes a very, very long way. And now I get some gari, and I said I just wet this gari just a little bit, added some of the stew to it, mix it up, and that's all you need. Get some leaves, get your talia or spaghetti or macaroni. There we go. Get your fried fish. It's really now beginning to look like we went to the boutique, right? The Waakye boutique. Your egg on there. A spoonful of Kwanchua's Kitchen spicy shito. That is all you need. That is all you need. That is real goodness over there. And our plate is made for the mister. Just so good. I really hope you're able to try this. I know you will love this. Just especially those of you away from home, transport yourself back home with this. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for doing this with me. And I know you always wonder, what does she do with all that food? Everything that I show you after presenting it, after we eating, of course I meal prep. So this is our meal prep Waakye for the week, and I had of course other meals cooked. So now your question is answered. I always meal prep, and watch out for the next meal prep video coming soon to you. Thanks for watching again. And if this is your first time here, this is Kwanchua's Kitchen, where making delicious, wholesome, replicable meals is my passion. And I'll be so honored if you went ahead and subscribe to this channel. Kindly share this video and all my other videos to your friends and family. And until I come your way next time with something delicious, be loving, be kind, be happy.